You are now listening to the sounds of C1Music.fm.
Yo, what's going on? It's your boy Deuce. We're definitely in the building. C1Music.fm. The Familiar. Definitely in the building all day, every day. Tonight's topic, we got, it's called Changing Me. And we're definitely broadcasting live from the Spreaker Network. Look us up on Spreaker.com. Spreaker.com. And we got the live Uber conference call going on. If you want to join us on the conference call, it's 908-316-8597. Or from your URL in Google Chrome, you can join the call by typing in www.uberconference.com/C1Music. All right, we got the live event going on YouVersion. Look us up, C1Music.fm on YouVersion live events, and you will see the title, C1Music.fm, with the subtitle Change in Me. We're going to start off with two or three quick songs, and then we're going to jump right into our title, all right? C1Music.fm, The Familiar, it's your boy Deuce, and let's get it. Holla at your boy.
You are now listening to the sounds of C1Music.fm. The Familiar.
Tell me, can you see the truth in our eyes? We light up the night until the sunrise. After the streets, raising our torches with our beautiful feet. Better yet, they are gorgeous. We take our pain and our pressure, we gon' work. Lay it out over a stretcher, we gon' work. Tell them 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 we gon' work. Got them going berserk, going nuts. Pedal to the floor, no feed on the clutch. A real MC, I hope you see when you see me. Can you keep up when you see me? Submit to God and you see me free from that lust. Yeah, that perversion steady lurking for certain, but we too focused, so game over for that garbage. Close the curtain, yeah. Our mission is to manifest that he saves. Love our wife and kids and try to keep them bills paid. Hope my dogs still make it out that steel cage. Gotta get my brothers out the hood because they still slaves to a sinful mindset. Young boys claiming they grown. I see why their behavior is kinda mindless. Searching the world for riches, hoping to find rest. I told them time and time again they'll only find less than what they already had until they found why. Jesus Christ, the one and only Adonai. Tell me, can you see the truth in our eyes? We light up the night until the sunrise. After the streets, raising our torches with our beautiful feet. Better yet, they are gorgeous. We take our pain and our pressure, we gon' work. Lay it out over a stretcher, we gon' work. Tell them 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 we gon' work.
I operate in awkward ways. I could wait for cats to come up to my place and let me proclamate. The truth I be spitting is hidden in the scriptures, and I try to be specific but not coming off religious. It's just that I've been committed to spit the truth and live my life and love my wife better than I was doing before. Man, I just can't take it no more. How they want me to dumb it down, but none of the intelligence, so I just work till I'm sore. And then people ask me for more, so I give it to them. So when I pass away, they never say I didn't work for my court. Don't you know that I work for my Lord? And that's for sugar, for sure, for certain. For heaven's sakes, I'm shaping up for the sword. The word on my tongue, his kingdom will come. For a junkie, a bum, a dreamer, a leader, a believer, if none. And I can't take no days off until I make it to the sun. I'm a son of a gun, a bullet hit you, then I'm done.
Tell me, can you see the truth in our eyes? We light up the night until the sunrise. After the streets, raising our torches with our beautiful feet. Better yet, they are gorgeous. We take our pain and our pressure, we gon' work. Lay it out over a stretcher, we gon' work. Tell them 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 we gon' work.
You are now listening to the sounds of C1Music.fm. The Familiar.
about as average as they come. Her family, they ain't too strange. They even get along most days. There's nothing too crazy going on, but sometimes she wonders if she's good enough. Well, girl, if you're listening, turn it up. You love me, every bit of lovely. Don't you know that you're God's original work of art? Yes, you are. So don't ever let them tell you that you're less than wonderful, 'cause you're a one and only. You're every little bit of lovely. Have you seen a lightning storm? And have you heard the oceans roar? Have you seen a newborn baby smile? Well, the same God who made all that, he's the one who made your crazy laugh, and every tiny quirk that makes you, you. So if you wonder if you're good enough, well, I know you're listening, yeah, you're listening, so turn it up. You're lovely, every bit of lovely. Don't you know that you're God's original work of art? Yes, you are. So don't ever let them tell you that you're less than wonderful, 'cause you're a one and only. You're every little bit of lovely. This goes out to all of my lovely girls. Y'all be shining like diamonds all around the world. From the west coast over to the east side, up north to the dirty south where I reside. Got them magazines telling you who to be, rocking them too tight tees. Please, there's no need to be so revealing. No matter what you're feeling, it's the beauty inside that's gonna last. It's gonna last. For real. You're lovely, every bit of lovely. Don't you know that you're God's original work of art? Yes, you are. So don't ever let them tell you that you're less than wonderful, 'cause you're a one and only. Yeah, you're every little bit, every little bit. Don't you know it, girl? Don't you hear me, girl? Don't you see it, girl? Don't you know it, girl? Don't you hear me, girl? Don't you see it, girl?
You are now listening to the sounds of C1music.fm. Unfamiliar.
He said he don't wanna face it. Turned his back on you, girl. Skipped town without leaving any traces. So sad kind of world, ayy. Got you mad at your life, ayy, ayy. Sitting sad, acting like you don't care, like you don't care, like you don't care, like you don't care, like you don't care. She said she'll never need a man or the dollars in his hand, but let me tell you this, when no one wants us, Jesus, he does. I'm saying don't love them dollar signs. You're gonna hate when you don't find the peace of mind you had in mind. He said he don't wanna face it, living life on the run. The only money that he gets is when he takes it. Gotta provide for his son, ayy. Now he's mad at his life, ayy, ayy. Mad at God, thinking that he don't care, that he don't care, that he don't care, that he don't care, that he don't care. He said he'll never see the gates, gonna live his life in hate. But let me tell you, wait, when no one loves us, Jesus, he does. Don't love them dollar signs, hate when you don't find
You are now listening to the sounds of C1Music.fm.
C1Music.fm, The Familiar, it's your boy Deuce. We are definitely in the building, C1 Music style. And tonight is Thursday, November 13th. And we're about to get it in. Changing Me is the name of this topic. I have Carm in the building. I got Carm. What's going on, Carm?
Hello, how you doing?
Good, good. Also got Chris in the building. What's going on, Chris?
What's good, man? What's good?
Good, good, good. So right now we got my two callers for the night calling in, and we're gonna get the show started. And hopefully we can generate some good conversation. And Carm, I don't want to pick on you tonight. I was hoping that some of the other ladies would join in tonight. So we want to try to make this as interesting as possible, given that you're the only young woman on the line with us. And hopefully some more will call in if possible and listen to our topic and correspond with us. And me and Chris is going to beat you up a little bit, to some extent. We're gonna try not to, but you know, it is what it is. If you read my story, and I was hoping, like I said, that a couple other people would join the call. Hopefully, they will join in a little bit. What was intriguing? I'm gonna get to this now. What was intriguing about this particular topic was the simple fact that it was an article that I read, and there was a young lady. She wrote into this blog or whatever. It's a radio show that they have bloggers and do a whole bunch of different things. And the gentleman's name was Matt. He was the one writing the blog. I don't know if that's his real name or his alias name or whatever the case may be. But the young lady sent a message, wrote a letter to him, right? So he writes frequently different blogs on different topics. So this young lady wrote a topic, and she wrote a message to the dude, Matt. And what was interesting to me is because I would say about 7 out of 10 single females I know probably feel about the same way that this young lady feels. All right? And they use the same excuses to, I don't know if 7 is a high number, but I hear this a lot, coming from different females. And so the way that my man responded to this young lady's email was so funny to me. It was so true, but it was funny at the same time, because I'm pretty sure that she was emailing him thinking that he was going to agree with her on everything that she said. And he did the opposite. And it was hilarious. I was reading, I was laughing. I was like, this would be a good topic. So I wanted to focus on this particular email, the email that she sent, and the response to the email, and see how far we can get into it. And then I wanted to pick a character in the Bible that kind of somewhat flip-flop. I can maybe match or fit that in to something similar to this. You know what I mean? We'll try to get a female's perspective on why females do some of the things that they do. That has always been the guy's approach anyway, right, Chris? Like, why do females do sometimes they do some of the things that they do? I don't know. The females don't even know why, But and again, Con, we're not gonna beat you up. We're gonna try not to. We're gonna try not to. You know what I mean? But maybe you can give us some insight. You can share some wisdom to some of the females who will listen to this episode and will listen to this topic, and some females who feel the same way, you know, that this young lady felt. I think her name is Rebecca, and maybe you can argue for them. Maybe you can be arguing for them, or maybe you can teach them. I don't know. But being that you're the first young lady on the call, we're going to let you share some light on it as I read it, and then we'll get into it. Sounds fair enough? I'll let you respond a little bit to that after I read it, and then I'm going to let Chris respond to, we're going to dialogue about the females thing, and then we're going to respond to the males part, and I'm going to let my man Chris take over that and respond to that, and then we're just going to dialogue a little bit, and then chop it up. Sounds like a good look?
Got it. I'm on it.
All right. Just for everybody, again, the title is Changing Me. We're on the Spreaker network. If you go to Spreaker.com, go on the search button. It's c1music.fm, and we will be there in the address bar. Once you put this in the search button, it will pop up, and the link is there. You see a live episode. We are live on a conference call. You can call in 908-316-8597. No pen needed. And if you want to chat with us or talk with us from your computer live, we're at Uber Conference Call, www.uberconference.com/C1 Music. And you can join us from there. With that being said, I am going to read the what do you think part. All right? Here we go. Y'all two got it, right?
Got it.
Yes.
All right, here we go. A fan wrote to Matt, a blogger, this question was stated. Dear Matt, I know you've written articles about this before, but I'd like to see you write another one, not just addressing single men, but all of the bad men in general in our country. These men today aren't men. They're boys. They act like little children, playing video games all day, not interested in careers, can't stay in relationships. I'm only 32, and I'm about to give up even looking. I thought I found real men twice, but both of those ended when we are still engaged because I found out they were losers and not the kind of men I want to be with. There's plenty of other losers before them and after them. Failed relationships after failed relationships, every single one ended because the man was a loser or worse. This is how, hold on just a second. This is how it is for women today. There aren't any real men left, so we have to have nowhere to turn. The guys we are left to deal with are either jerks or needy and clingy, non-motivated losers. Men aren't ready to be responsible and reliable anymore. They only put on that front until you get to know them better, and then the truth comes out. I know what I deserve as a woman, and it's better than what these men/boys are offering. I guess I'll be single for the rest of my life. I thought of writing this all to you after this weekend when I went out with a guy I recently met. No manners, no chivalry. He couldn't look me in the eye and have a conversation. He was dressed like a slob, and he mumbled too much. Finally, we went back to his house, and he suggested we watch a movie. He wanted to watch X-Men, which shouldn't have been a surprise to me. The next morning, he said he couldn't bring me back to my house because he had to go the opposite direction for work. At least this one had a job. So I ended up calling a cab. It just seems like this is the only kind of man left. It's a crazy situation because women are always forced to settle or just be alone. I'm not needy or demanding, but I want a man who is a man. A man who with ambitions and goals and who can be strong for me. Basically, do you have a brother, Matt? Seriously, why do you think this is happening? Where are the real men? I am glad you understand how it is because most men get all offended when you talk about this. This is the truth that the dating world is harder for a woman because so many of you guys suck. And we know we deserve better. Rebecca, a big fan. P.S. If you use this post, please don't use my full name. Rebecca. All right. Carm. Let's start from the basics. Do you agree or disagree?
I disagree with this particular woman. I see some points that she has some valid points, but she makes broad generalizations that aren't fair. And it sounds as though she's desperate. That aren't fair. She said that there are no real men left. That's not true. She just so happened to not make good choices. It sounds like what she's looking for in particular is not what she's really wanting. It sounds like she's settling and she's desperate. She says she's not desperate. She is. I don't know if she has wisdom.
Let's be realistic for a minute. I started off this episode and I said to you, 7 out of 10 women, I believe. And I said maybe that might be a little high, but I don't think it's too far off. 7 out of 10 women, give or take, right, feel the same way this woman feels. Chris, do you agree?
Yes, I definitely agree, especially now.
Hold on. Before you respond, Chris, I'll pass it back to Calm. But Calm, honestly, I know for a fact that you agree with some points, not all of them. Got you.
Right.
But 7 out of 10, give or take, agree with this woman. You agree with that statement? 7 out of 10 women.
75%. I think about 75% of men think this.
That is high, don't you think? That's a high number?
That is very high. That is very high and unfortunate, but yes.
Why do women think this way?
Well, I feel as though women think this way because they settle or they have such high expectations that no one's ever going to match them. And it's also your maturity level as well. I mean, reading what she wrote, she was in the thick of venting. She was upset. She was mad. You could tell. And some of her language shows her immaturity. But it has a lot to do with what you're willing to accept. When she went out on this date and with this gentleman, she knew by the end of the dinner, this is not it. She should have went on with him. You're wasting your time. That was it. I mean, when you get to a certain age, she's about at the age when that light bulb comes on. And you know by the end of the dinner, sometimes you know by the time you get to the table, you know what? It's probably not going to work out. I'll give you to the end of the dinner, and then we're parting ways. There's no use in wasting your time and the other person's time.
So why do you think that she went to go see a movie with him? Like, let's first just think about it for a minute. She said most men are boys. They act like little children. They play video games all day, not interested in careers, and can't stay in a relationship. What's wrong with playing video games? Just out of curiosity.
I understand playing video games.
Hold on, Tom. All you got, man.
Well, okay. I'm a business owner, and I still play video games. So it's a balance. It's called a balance. Now, if you're playing video games all day long and you're not making money, something's wrong. I can agree with her on a certain extent. But if you're doing what you got to do as a man and you're running things as a man, and if I come home and de-stress to play some NBA 2K15, why are you hounding me? I'm just saying. That's just my opinion. But if I'm doing what I have to do as a man and I'm handling my business, that seems to be a big problem when it comes to I'm not going to put a race in the equation, but it always seems that the sisters have a problem when a man comes home, wants to play video games, but if he's running things, look, I don't want to hear you hounding me about me playing 2K. I'm just saying, I came home from work. I did the thing. I made the money for the house. Why are you crying? Just saying, you're not gonna be crying if I watch Lifetime with you. So why are you crying because I'm playing 2K? It's compromise. It's just compromise. That's all I'm saying. It's about compromise. Period.
Con, do you have a problem with your man or your husband coming home after work and playing video games?
No, I've experienced being exposed to that since, I don't know, high school. People I dated playing video games and as an adult as well. So I'm used to that. That's fine, but you have to handle business. If you're not handling business, I got a problem. A lot of women see playing video games as something that children do. They're games. They're for children.
Mm-hmm.
But hey, you're at home. You're handling business. You're handling business, and you're at home. I know what you're doing. You're de-stressing in a constructive way. Go for it.
So I'm asking you, though, do you look at playing video games as video games for little children?
No, they have all different types of video games, and most of the video games that men play are sports-related or action-related, which are very similar to movies. So, no, I don't have a problem with it.
Gotcha.
Wow. I gotta give her 2 thumbs up for that comment because I ain't never heard a female say that. I gotta give you 2 thumbs up for that, Carmen.
What about X-Men? You wanted to watch X-Men. What's wrong with that?
Actually, I like X-Men personally. I'm sure a lot of women don't, but I like action movies. So I don't personally have a problem. But it's like this right here. If you're playing your video games and you're stressed or whatever, and, there's a certain amount of time in the day or in a 24-hour period, and I'd like some of your time, then, hey, some of your time, I want you to watch Lifetime or do something that I want to do. But it's about that balance and compromising. But if you're always playing video games, but you never want to watch the Food Network or whatever I want to do that you normally want to do, that's not cool. It's give and take. You got to compromise and have the balance. Anything that's not balanced is not going to work out.
The Food Network.
Yeah, food is giving. You got to get.
That's what a lot of men don't want.
Listen. I know, Chris. I already know, man. I know.
Got you.
I already know. Let me ask this question to you again, now, Con. She said that the dude had no manners, and he never looked her in the eye when they had a conversation. Does that mean a lot to a female if a male doesn't look you in the eye all the time? Or if he doesn't look you in the eyes?
If he's not looking me in the eye, where is he looking? Now, if he's such a horrible guy the way that she says he is, if he's not looking her in the eye, is he looking at certain body parts? Is that all he has on his mind? Because if that's the case, she definitely should have went home with him. But if he can't look me in the eye, is he looking down at the floor or is he nervous?
Let's say he's looking at the floor.
Why he's not.
Let's say he's looking at the floor.
If he's looking at the floor and there's no kind of conversation, then I'm going to assume that he's nervous, and I'm going to try to make him more comfortable and, or say something, kind of funny to let him know it's okay. I'm a little nervous too, or I have a tendency to look at the floor and I'm a little nervous, or, interesting little things like that so he can, open up and not look at the floor all the time. Because if he looks at the floor the whole time, then, hey, what's wrong?
All right, so tell me then, stand out to me. And I'm only picking on you right now because you're the only female. I'm going to get on Chris in a minute. But answer this for me. What is this whole paragraph of her complaining about men do you agree with?
I do agree that it is very frustrating, and sometimes you feel like there are no good men left, or there's so very few that there's lots of women fighting over a select handful that seem compatible. Because in most states, women outnumber men.
So you
but
agree
you can't
that
give up just because of that.
So you agree that it is difficult for women to find a decent man, from a woman's perspective, that there are not enough decent men out. That's something you're saying you're agreeing with, right?
I agree that it's hard, but I'm not saying there are not any. I don't know the percentage of it, but it seems pretty slim because a lot of women accept bare minimum. So if a lot of women accept bare minimum, then a lot of guys are going to give bare minimum.
Chris,
and
what do you
that's
think?
What it is.
Do you agree with that statement that there are not enough decent men out there for women?
Yeah, I can say that honestly because there's only probably maybe 10% left, honestly. Because, and let me expound, 90% of the men are either gay or they're self-centered.
90?
Yes, I've done some. Yes, I've done homework on this, bro. 90% of men are either self-absorbed, either abusive, they're mama's boys, or they can't think for themselves. And only 10% of men are either business owners, they're single, and it's hard for them to find a woman that can respect them for who they are as a man because they actually doing their thing. They actually know how to hold the door for a woman. They actually know how to cook at least one meal. They have their own car. They have their own place. They are not they're not codependent on mommy. They're doing what they got to do. So yeah, in a way, there's a rare breed of men out there, and growing up in my time frame, we call these men Renaissance men. Well, it's not it's hard to find, and now I work in a situation where I'm dealing with females that are 18, 20, 21, 22, 23, and I can understand and agree. This young lady was 32, so she's close to my age range, but still, it's like the decline of gentlemen or just men in general. It's because, one, a lot of us grew up in a single-parent home. One. Two, we didn't have a strong father figure. Or three, BET pretty much raised us most of our life, so that's why we can't treat women like they're treated, because we let Lil Wayne and them teach us how to be thugs. So the reality of all this is that, there's not a lot of men mentors out there. And that's why these women are caught out there in the mix and confused about, man, where are all the men at? Like, really? Seriously?
All right. Chris, for some reason you're echoing.
Oh.
But all right. Let me ask you this, Carm. She said, seriously, why do you think this is happening? Where are the real men? Why do you think this is happening in your point of view, Carm? If at all you feel that it's happening.
I definitely feel that it's happening, but to echo a lot of what Chris said.
Hold on, Chris. I think you're echoing again, Chris.
Huh?
I said you're
Is the
echoing.
echo gone now?
Go ahead, Carm.
A lot of it is that you're right. If you don't have a good, solid foundation or a mentor, a male mentor to show you how to treat women, if you're raised by women and the examples that you see or that you hear about are bad examples, you're going to follow what you see. Because most people follow what they see more so than what they hear or what they're told. You follow by example. And if most of the examples out there that are publicized are bad examples about how to be a thug or how to be a player, having women give you things and do stuff for you, you don't see on TV or in the media men opening doors for women. You usually don't see that. If you see it, you maybe in a church setting or the older generation of men doing that. That's one example of chivalry. I rarely see chivalry. It happens sometimes, and it should happen all the time. But, I mean, and most people don't emphasize how important that is. A lot of women who are raising children by themselves, they're just trying to handle the basics. So some of those little details get missed, but little details make a big difference.
Right.
So it's a society.
Do you have us on speakerphone?
No.
All right. Somebody, I don't know. For some reason I hear echo. I don't know if it's you or Chris.
No, I got you on regular phone.
All right, cool. All right, so listen. I don't know. The reason why it stood out to me, like, I understand where Chris is coming from. I don't know about his percentages. I'm not saying he's wrong. I'm not going to say he's right. I'm saying I don't know. I had to plead the fifth on his percentages. However, you and Chris pretty much are saying the same thing to some way, shape, or form. Would y'all agree? You, Carm, you and Chris?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. So what stood out to me in this particular topic was what Matt responded to her. And I kind of feel how I kind of feel the same way Matt feels in regard to what he was saying in this particular topic. You know what I mean? And I'm going to try to share that with you guys, where Matt was saying, and see his response was kind of long. I try to shorten it as much as I possibly can and still make it interesting. All right? But actually, what we're going to do first, before we read Matt's response, I'm going to go into a song real quick. Play one song. We're going to come back, give you guys a chance to look at Matt's response. I'm going to then jump into Matt's response, and we're going to take it from there, all right? C1Music.FM, the familiar, it's your boy Deuce. We definitely in building, and we'll be back after this quick music break. Holla at your boy.
You are now listening to the sounds of C1Music.FM, the familiar.
Like they are in and out. Well, I'm here to wipe off your smile and tell you what's the word around town. I know you don't want to hear the truth. I know you hate the fact that I actually have the proof. But I just need you like me. I'm talking the good, the bad, the ugly.
Remember back in 02 when I was in school and acting a fool. My soul got saved, my debt had been paid, but still I kept running off of my crew. Sex on my brain and death in my veins. Had a main thing, we stayed up to 2. Smoking, waking and thinking we naked. My body was loving it, soul was hating it, man. Time and time after time, our bodies grew close, the girl was so fine. Heard a heartbeat that wasn't hers or mine. The miracle of life that started inside. Ignored the warning signs, suppressed that truth I felt inside. I was just having fun with this, I'm too young for this. I'm thinking me, myself and I. Should I sacrifice this life to keep my vanity and live nice? And she love and trust me so much that whatever I say she'll probably go oblige. But I was too selfish with my time, scared my dreams were not gonna survive. So I dropped her off at that clinic. That day a part of us died, man.
Come on, everybody sit down. People wanna act like they are in and out. Well, I'm here to wipe off your smile and tell you what's the word around town. I know you don't wanna hear the truth. I know you hate the fact that I actually have the proof. But I just need you like me. I'm talking the good, the bad, the ugly.
I remember back in the day, I was barely in the first grade. Got teeth missing, watching Tom and Jerry, trying to go outside so I could play. I was told to watch out for strangers, keep my eyes peeled for danger. Folks working late, I had a babysitter. I ain't about to sit here and name her. I was almost late when she came in late. Woke me up with a game to play. Did a few things that's hard to say. They told me to keep that secret safe. Now how a young boy supposed to deal? I'm trying to act like it ain't real. Had my innocence just stripped from me, and I still don't know how to feel. And I'm wondering how to address it. Can't tell my family too messy, so I just embrace it. It's hard to face it, I'm too ashamed to confess it. So I kept it in and they speak. Then think he hit me so deep. So into it, I got promiscuous, and only God can help me get free. But I've been forgiven, my Savior risen. I'm out the prison, I know that. I got the power to say no to all of my struggles, gotta control that. Every time we slip and we fall, gotta get back up and fight on. We are not defined by our past, the future look bright, I see the light on.
Come on, everybody, sit down. People wanna act like they are in and out. Well, I'm here to wipe off your smile and tell you what's the word around town. I know you don't wanna hear the truth. I know you hate the fact that I actually have the proof. But I just need you to believe. I'm talking the good, the bad, the ugly. It's like people don't want to hear the truth.
You are now listening to the sounds of C1Music.fm.
C1Music.fm, the familiar. It is your boy Deuce. We are definitely in a building. Now we do all day, every day, bringing that real talk radio to you. We have the title topic, Change in Me, the name of our show tonight. We are live on the Spreaker.com, Spreaker platform. You can look us up in the search button, C1Music.fm. We also have a live conference call going on right now. The number to the live conference call is 908-316-8597. No pin needed. You can join us from the conference call, or you can call in through your web browser. If you're using Google Chrome, it is www.uberconference.com/C1Music. We also got the YouVersion live event going, so you can definitely read the questions and things of that nature from YouVersion live event. Look us up, C1Music.fm, and you'll see it. I have two callers on the line with me. I have Carm and I have Chris. Carm and Chris, are you there?
Yeah.
Yes.
Good. And we were discussing the topic where a young lady wrote to a blogger from a blogger who writes, I guess he talks about relationships at times, and this young lady were complaining about men. Chris, along with Carm, agreed that there is a shortage in men to some extent, and that to some things in this lady's article here, or paragraph, or questions that she wrote in, they agree with some of the stuff that she was saying. I, on the other hand, I am going to read the response that Matt wrote, and I tend to agree with Matt. And I guess once we hear what Matt said, I'm pretty sure we're going to get a little bit more of a dialogue going. And I want to see if at all Chris at least changes his tune and agree with me and Matt instead of agreeing with Carm. But we shall see. All right? This section is the response, and I'm going to read Matt's response. Please follow along with me. And again, Matt has a little bit of a lengthy response, but it's very detailed. I like how he put it together. It caught my attention, and I actually read it, and I don't like reading blogs. So then I don't like reading blogs, and it started off with this lady complaining, and I was like, heck is this lady complaining? And then his response just stood out to me, so I said, nice. I said, nice. So I got another call on the line. What's going on, new caller?
Not a lot. I just got done teaching.
You just got done teaching?
Yes.
Cool. New caller. So how are you today? Who's the new caller? What's your name, new caller?
This is Dawn.
Dawn. All right. Thank you for joining us, Dawn.
You're
All
welcome.
right, yeah, I appreciate it. So, Dawn, we are talking. I don't know if you heard. We are talking about a letter that a young lady wrote in to a gentleman who's a blogger, and she was saying how pretty much men are sorry, and she was giving her, raving and ranting about guys. And her perspective was that she was saying to Matt, Matt should do another article about men and how men should stand up to the plate, how men play video games, they act like little children. She was 32, and she's been in failed relationships, and all of them was the men's fault. They're not responsible or reliable. All they want to do is watch X-Men movies and so on and so forth. She was going in on the guys. And so I was talking with Carm and Chris and Chris agreed to some of the things that she was saying. And pretty said so much overall that there was a shortage of men. Because she was actually asked, why did this happen? And so I'm going to read now the young man, Matt, who's the blogger. He's going to respond to her. So she's thinking that Matt is going to be on her side, like Carm and Chris. And I'm about to read Matt's response to what she said. So listen in, and then hopefully we'll get your take on what he's saying. And if you want to get the questions here, you can go on YouVersion, the live event, YouVersion.com live event, and look up C1music.fm, and you can see the questions there.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, I'm about to read the response right now, and it goes like this. This is what Matt's response was. She says, "Now, before I get to alienating another loyal reader, first, I'll agree that you are not alone in feeling this way. There are, as you say, many other women out there who blame men for their troubles. There are many women who make sweeping generalizations about men and then use those generalizations to rationalize all of their personal and romantic failures. There are many women who've been divorced multiple times and burned through an infinite number of other less committed relationships, yet still believe that every single doomed coupling can be hung entirely around the neck of those dirty, dastardly men. There are many women who say that there are no real men, but who've never stopped to consider what it takes to be a real woman, and whether they live up to the standard. Notice, I say many women, not all or every or most, many. I estimate the number of women in this category probably mirrors the number of men in the category you described. And the numbers of both clubs commiserate amongst themselves, pointing their fingers at the other group, wondering why God or the universe or whatever external force chose to saddle them with an existence constantly plagued and encumbered by the myriad shortcomings of the opposite gender. But of course, those two clubs still have mixers, whether they get together, and there's a lot of sex and a lot of regret and a lot of blaming. Always blaming. Meanwhile, women who are not in the blame men sorority carry on meeting, forming relationships with and marrying decent guys, as men not in the blame woman fraternity likewise meet, form relationships with and marry decent ladies. All we outsiders can do is scratch our heads and wonder how we manage to find romantic partners who supposedly doesn't exist. I'm not sure precisely how many women belong to the club or how many men belong to the other one, but I do not know that. But I do know that, according to the study Women are more likely to blame their significant others for their relationship problems. And even according to the study, more likely to blame the other driver in a car accident. Interesting data. I can't say I'm completely surprised. Here's my 3-word summarized reaction to everything you said. It's your fault. Also, C, get over it and stop finger pointing. What I mean is, men aren't the problem. Rebecca, it's you. Let me finish, Chris. He goes on to say, you're the one. You're the common denominator. You're to blame. There has been one person conspicuously involved in all of Rebecca's romantic flops, and her name is Rebecca. Frankly, it seems that when you refer to men, you aren't even talking about a group of actual human beings. Men have become an abstract idea, conceptual manifestation of everything that's wrong with your life. If men exist at all in your world, they exist only as vehicles for your misery. Let's borrow a recent example from your life. You went on a date with a man who you claim had no manners. Maybe that's true. Or maybe you're so desperate to find flaw in every male on the planet that he was fated to be labeled a boorish dolt no matter what he did or said. You also mentioned that he couldn't look you in the eyes and have a conversation. Maybe he was nervous. Maybe he had social anxieties. Maybe he tried to talk to you, but he sensed your standoffish, snobbish demeanor, and it made him uncomfortable. I don't know. I wasn't there. Maybe he wasn't as bad as you say, or maybe he actually was a big, awkward, uncouth, stammering warhog. You seem to have this conclusion very early in the evening, yet you still chose to go back to his place. Why? What does that say about you, Rebecca? Look in the mirror and ask yourself what it says about you that you came back to this man's house even though you're apparently disgusted by it. That's a choice you made. You, not him, you. He continued to fumble and falter well into the night, committing the unconscionable sin of revealing himself to be a fan of X-Men film franchise. The uncultured, lethargic Lou only succeeded in finding more ways to repulse and offend you as time wore on. Yet, you were never put off enough to decline the invitation to stay over. Here's the thing, Rebecca. I was always told that if I want to attract a good woman, I have to be a good man. The point is, you have to work on improving yourself if you want to end up with a man who's equally intent on improving himself. Not all men are desperate, drooling straight out of some cliched beer commercial. There are plenty of hardworking, engaging, dependable, morally upright men out there. But they won't come knocking on your door just because you've announced that you're a woman who deserves it. Rebecca, you're willing to essentially typecast a man because he plays video games and watches superhero movies. But have you ever considered that you might be the victim of similar assumptions because you sleep with dudes you just met? Of course, victim isn't the right word. You earned the assumption. I'm not saying that you ought to be alone for the rest of your life, but I am pointing out that you are eager to jump to profound conclusions about a man based on the most superficial flaws, while stopping to consider what conclusions might be drawn about you based on slightly more significant character traits. Then again, this guy was willing to sleep with you on the first date, just as you were with him. He's not innocent in the transaction, neither are you. It sounds like right now, you two are evenly matched. You look at him and see yourself, and you hate him for it. We hear all the handwriting about the decline of masculinity and the disappearance of real men, yet very little is ever said about the corresponding deterioration of femininity. It's strange that you care about manners and chivalry, yet your email is vulgar and overly aggressive, at times across like dialogue out of a middle school boys' locker room. Loser, really? A 32-year-old woman using a word like that to describe men, simultaneously complaining that men aren't courteous. I bet the ones who are courteous just get written off as losers anyway. So it's a lose-lose for you, especially because in the end, you're the one who has to pay for the extremely unappealing attitude. By your account, you'd had 2 broken engagements, and both were the fault of the men. Maybe, but it is, from the mathematical perspective, almost impossible for one human being to have failed engagements without being at least partially to blame. It's been my experience as an observer of people that fractured and strained relationships can rarely be broken down into a clear bad person versus good person. And on the rare occasions when things are actually that simple, it's just likely to be bad woman versus good guy as it is to be bad guy versus good woman. Chris.
Wow.
What do you think?
Wow.
Wow. Wow. He broke that down, dude. I'm sorry. That was just crazy. Yeah. Well, I do. Yeah. I mean, I'm really teeter-tottering right now because he brought out some very, very, very valid points, and it's like, wow. You know, I mean, he really kind of saw from the outside in, and he really dissected what she was really saying, and that was like, he hit it on all cylinders, because a lot of times we're driven emotionally, and a lot of times it's clouded, so we don't really see things clearly because we're on our emotional high or we're on our emotional fix, so we don't really see things the way we need to see them clearly because we're fogged, or we have our own little ideologies of what things are supposed to be, so when they don't go that way, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's not a good situation. That doesn't necessarily mean that it's not healthy for you. That just means, maybe it means that it's different. Maybe it's outside the box. Maybe it's something that you need. But human beings, male and female, we are superficial. We just have our own ways, and we have our own agendas, and we stick by them, and a lot of times we miss the bus. And you know, he broke it down, dude. I'm like, man, like, I don't even know what to say right now. Like, I can't even like choose a side, because he kind of really like nailed it. I mean, I was laughing, but it was true, because I mean, he nailed a lot of stuff on the head that a lot of dudes sometimes want to say, but a lot of us kind of hold it back, and we're like, no, that'll be kind of disrespectful and rude if I really tell this female what she's really doing right now. But at the same time, he was that voice. So in a way, it was kind of comforting, because it was like, wow, he really kind of broke it down, and I don't really feel bad anymore. But at the same time, yeah, it's one of those, it's a gray area. But yeah, ultimately, I'm really, I gotta really co-sign on him right now, because
I told
really
you
kind of broke.
I told you was gonna switch up on me, man.
Yeah.
I said right before we started, I said, "Oh, he's gonna switch out. Watch." I said, "I bet Chris gonna switch up." I knew he was gonna switch up, because you was agreeing with the ladies at first, man, and you switched up on me. All right, my new caller. I wanna ask you for your opinion, real quick. What did you think about what this young man was saying?
Okay, let me clarify. You had a female that wrote in or called in with an issue, and he's kind of like the male version of Dear Abby, blogging it. Is that correct?
He's a blogger. A woman blogged, asked him a question to blog about.
Okay.
And she went in to blog about the
trying to get perspective. Okay. Okay, well, here's my opinion.
Okay.
I think that ownership belongs with both male and female. I think that you can have positive, healthy, and inviting relationships if that's what you're seeking. If you seek out Nobody held a gun to her head to go hang out with this guy after the drinks went bad, the dinner went bad, whatever. So if she's self-defeating, then she has some, insecurity issues and some confidence issues. She can't find resolution in an individual if she's not healthy, because the other individual isn't going to fix her. And that's her issue. His issue, if the man's playing video games or if he likes Xbox games or X-Men or whatever, well, I happen to like guy movies. I don't hang out in Xbox all the time, but I raised 2 grown men, and I'm only 42. They love their games, but they respect women, and they know when to have girl time, and they know when to have guy play the game time. I think that life is about balance, and I think that, when you enjoy the company of whom you're with, then you enjoy things together, but you still have enough autonomy and enough anonymity, my bad, it's late, to be able to identify yourself individually as well as a couple. Mutual respect goes a long way. Communication and honesty is bar none. If you can't talk to the person you're with, and if you don't care enough to hear what they're truly saying because you don't trust it, well, then you don't trust them to speak into your life, which means that you're already at an unhealthy threshold. So, Mr. Blogger, whoever he is, I have a lot of respect for the fact that his articulation skills are bar none. The fact that he could raise the bar with some academia was great. As far as the girl goes, yeah, dating sucks, but there is a common denominator, and you can't change people, but you can change yourself. So if you're unhappy with the way you have, different resolutions in the dating scheme, then yeah, how can you adjust your perspective about the people that you see?
I agree.
So anyway, there's my take on that.
No, that was good. I agree with everything you said. Con, what about you, Con? Are you switching up on us? Or are you still running with the female perspective?
You broke down some wonderful things, but like I said earlier, that you have to have balance. And a lot of women do say that there aren't that many good men out there. They're out there. I don't think they're in large, vast numbers like they used to be. And we had given those reasons before about young men not having that role model, that base to determine how they should treat women and that example to follow. So I'm not pulling away from what I said, but he had a great breakdown, and evidently she has some problems in who she's choosing, and she made a bad choice to go with that guy. She seemed desperate. If she wasn't happy with the date, she should have ended it. Like I said, she should have ended it, point blank. And to go over there and get upset because he chose a movie, she was upset already. So pretty much any movie except a chick flick, she would have been upset about.
Right, but that's the reason why I agree with what he was saying and disagreeing with y'all were saying in the beginning, because of the simple fact that this young lady, she had all horrible things to say about this guy, right? She said horrible things. This guy's a slob. He don't look me in the eyes. Yet she spent the night with him. I mean, to me, if you want to spend the night with him, you can't say nothing about him.
No, because that's obviously what she was okay with, or else why lower your standards?
Exactly.
I mean, if you're not happy with the presentation, you're not happy with the environment, you're not happy with the bells and the whistles or the lack thereof, well then, hey, politely, excuse yourself and say, you know what, I appreciate you coming out. It was, nice to meet you and all, but I really don't think this is happening, and I'm going to excuse myself, that kind of thing. But, to go into a date expecting that whoever that is going to be that perfect meeting of all your needs and then feel disappointed. Right, it's not going to happen. I mean, there's got to be chemistry. There has to be intrigue. There has to be, some sort of a pheromonal thing happening, as well as, the piquing of the interest and the intellect. There's so many different firings happen when people meet each other that, the expectation should be this. Go into it with an open perspective and allow the evening to develop,
Exactly.
So then let me ask, because in the beginning, Chris and Carm were saying there's not a lot of good guys out there.
I think there's a lot of crappy guys and crappy girls out there.
I was about to say that to you. I was going to ask you. Do
yeah,
you think
we're a ready-made society. Think about it. We are a gotta-have-it-now society. It's instant gratification. And the minute something falls short of that instant gratification, we either get frustrated or we sabotage it. Well,
especially,
if you're looking to spend quality time with somebody, it can't be an instant gratification. You actually have to do some investing. And I'm not talking about, hundreds of dollars and that kind of stuff, but you got to invest a part of you. And if you've been bent or broken or wounded or whatever, then that investment seems, for some people, I think, insurmountable. Men and women. I've met a lot of men, they will, come to me because I have a great personality, and they're miserable. And all they really want is the person that they're with to be able to understand them a little bit better. But we're friends, and I try to give them some ideas of how to approach their female partners, and how to keep that relationship in a better perspective. And, ultimately, at the end of the day, people have to talk to each other. Not text, not email, but physically sit down and say, you know what? This is how I feel. This is what's going on, and this is what I want you to know. But people, they forgot how to communicate a long time ago.
So, all right, Carm, let me ask you this, Carm. Why then? Why do you think that how do we get to this point to where better yet, why do you think it's a shortage of good women then? If it's a shortage of good men, he was saying if it's a shortage of good men, that means it's an equally amount of a shortage in good women.
Oh,
do you agree with that statement, Carm?
I agree. There is a shortage of good women. There are a lot of women who have low standards. There are a lot they feel if people are not doing everything themselves, then, they're not worthy. A lot of people are not willing to compromise because if they do it all, they don't have to compromise. They're handling themselves.
Okay.
And in society, there are not that many consequences for not being a good person, for not having high morals. Morals are deteriorating for women and men.
Right.
Yeah, I agree. Like even in the church community, there's a lot of stuff.
Yeah, Chris.
Yeah, in the church community, there's a lot of standards that are set for a lot of women, and a lot of times, when you go through a pain or you go through divorce or you go through a bad relationship, it's not that all men are bad or all women are bad. Sometimes you got to really seek yourself, and sometimes you got to find healing within yourself. And a lot of times you find restoration and peace once you find who you are. And once you find who you are, then when you meet someone, it'll be easier for you to be open to different things because you're able to be free from the bondages that have kept you down. So you don't have to prejudge anyone based on your past or based on your preconceived notions of what a man or a woman is. It's a self thing. I mean, if you don't heal yourself, and if you don't put your mindset at anew, you're not going to go beyond the norm. You're going to always feel that all men are bad or all women are bad, just based on society's statistics and all this other stuff. So, it's a great. I mean, it is a gray area, but at the end of the day, it all comes to you. It all begins with you. It all begins with healing yourself, and it all begins with knowing who you believe and knowing what you believe and allowing that to heal you to the point where you can move on and you can move forward. Because a lot of times, are we perfect? No. Sometimes we fall, sometimes we stumble, but at the end of the day, that doesn't make us a mean person. You know, we're growing. So yeah, it's a growing pain, man. It's a growing pain. If you can be real with that and be real with yourself, you're gonna go far, man, regardless of who you meet.
All right, so in this thing, he says here, he says women, and I'm asking the two ladies that's on here, right? He said on this, he says that there was a study, and in the study, women are going to blame men for disastrous relationships, just like women will blame the other person in the car accident, automatically blame the other person in the car accident, even though it might be their fault. Is that a true statement, ladies?
Well, I think it's just as true as if the man's going to blame somebody else. Though. I think here's the deal. When you're unhappy, well, I mean, he probably checked the study, which, okay, there's probably verifiable evidence that women do blame the man like they blame somebody in the car accident. But there's probably a double-blind study that was done where men, they feel like they're either not getting enough attention because men are just as needy as women, just in a different fashion. Okay, they need their egos stroked.
Pause right there for a minute. Let me ask you that question here. Men, I agree with you. Men and women, men are needy just as much as women are.
Absolutely.
But in a different faction.
Yes, in a different way.
But men tend to always try, this is my opinion, men tend to always try to please women in a way, or at least try to attempt to please women at times. Not going to say all the time, but at times, to please women in their ways, to meet their needs. But I don't ever see the woman trying to meet the needs of the men in the ways that they need to be met.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think there's a lot of bitter women out there, and I think a lot of women make men jump through a lot of hoops to prove their gallantry. And here's the deal. Women need to give just as much as they want men to give. And there's a different kind of giving that a man needs, just like there's a different kind of giving that a woman needs. And you can't walk into a relationship and say, what have you done for me? Oh, now I'll do something for you. No, if two people truly are digging each other and they truly love each other, then you never have to ask that question, what have you done for me? Why? Because you've already done it for the other person with your whole heart. If you are constantly elevating that other person and lifting them up and coming alongside them and gracing them and blessing them, and they're doing that for you, nobody has to ask, what did you do for me lately? Because you're doing it for each other at that time. We need to stop looking about what hasn't been done and appreciate what is being done.
Hello.
All of us. So
I agree.
That's just my theory.
No, that's true. Chris, have you ever been in a situation where you had a female ask you, what have you done for me lately? I'm being serious, man.
Yeah, well, I'm laughing
That's
because...
a loaded question. That's funny.
Yeah, I'm laughing because that is, yes. In the undertone kind of way, yeah, that has happened to me a lot. Because I've been given a tag because when you're taught to be a gentleman, it's hard not to be. And in a society where women are not used to having gentlemen in their lives, it can be a very hard thing to try to coexist with a female. Because it's like, why are you holding the door for me? Or why are you being nice to me? Or why are you just showing just affection just because? Or why are you having a candid conversation and you're not talking about something just totally stupid, and you're stimulating my intellect. Oh, I'm sorry, because I thought that's what I'm supposed to do. So those are the questions. Those are the things that you deal with, and it's like, wow. So yeah, it's funny. But anyway, I got off topic. But yeah, it's one of those things. It's one of those things, and I'm gonna leave it alone.
What about you, Carm? Have you ever asked that question?
Who are you talking to me?
I've asked that
Carm.
question. I mean,
Carmen.
I've asked that question before. I've dated someone before where I like to be giving, I like to do for the other person, and they're constantly asking of me, and I'm thinking, okay, I do these things, I don't have a problem, but I mean, why don't you want to do anything for me? What's the last thing that you've done? And just asking a general question, because they were constantly always asking for things. And they got to the point to where, you know, if you're always going to be taking and I'm giving, then we have a problem. It's not balanced. And, you know, they paused for a very long time. Like, you know what? There's a problem. Let's address this. And I end up cutting it off. I was like, this is ridiculous. I'm out of here.
Now let me say this. And, Chris, I want you to co-sign me. I got the ladies on the phone with me. Co-sign me on this and tell me if you co-sign me on this, period. Mm-hmm. I always, when you first meet a young lady for the very first time, you know, they don't like to commit to anything in the beginning. So they always hit you with the, let's be friends and see where it goes. Mm-hmm. Right? Now, I try to explain to them as best as I possibly can that, listen, if we don't have a purpose for doing what we're about to do, there is no seeing where we go. We're just going to be friends. I'm not going to put my 100% effort into making this happen. I'm going to treat you as my friend. And in my friend, I don't need to talk to my friend every single day. And if I want to play video games that day, because we're just friends, and I don't feel like being bothered, I want to play video games, I'm going to play video games. But if I have to make an effort into putting work in to get to know you, then you have to put just as much effort in it, and that's more than friends. For me, that's getting to know each other. But they always like to play the category game of, oh, let's just be friends and see where it goes. I can't be friends and see where it goes. I don't know. Am I wrong for saying that, Chris?
No, actually, you're not. That actually makes sense to me, and you know, and it makes sense to me because I mean, I was always the other guy, and I was always the one that just was flexible with whatever was going on. But I can honestly say I can agree with that. So, yeah, I can co-sign on that.
What about you, ladies? Why do women always say, all right, let's be friends, let's see where it goes? Or do you agree with that statement? I don't know. Maybe you two agree with it.
Who are you talking to?
Any one of you got? Any one of you ladies can answer.
FYI, it's cold. Cold as balls outside. I just got in my car. It's freezing outside. It's 35 degrees. Okay, sorry, wow. I had to interject that. I had to leave the classroom. I was done. Thank God. Anyway, I would say that I think that's kind of a safety. You know, it's a safety on both sides. Guys are like, man, you know, I don't really want to get involved. I'm not really looking for this. Girls are like, let's just be friends. It's like, I mean, but you know, everybody wants the benefit package. It's like nobody wants to invest in anything past, you know, the quickie with benefits. And it's like, okay, well, then you wonder why there's not really any solid relationships out there because there's no investment. And,
right.
You know, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, that's the reality of it. But, you know, women say, let's just be friends because they have to convince themselves that if we're only friends, then I'm not going to get too invested in you. Okay, and a guy has to say, man, I'm not really looking for nothing because he's like, oh, I don't want to invest any more than I have to in you just in case you're going to take me for everything I got. So it kind of, there's no trust there. You know what I mean? There's no there's no wanting to actually really invest in the quality of the moment of the relationship to actually see if it can go further than just the surface.
Yeah,
so
I don't
that's
even.
my interpretation.
Yeah, to be truly honest with you, whenever that was stated to me, I just fell back off of that situation. And the truth be told, majority of the people that said that to me were still single way later after the fact. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So they didn't want to invest the time into. I don't listen. I have other things to do. If you want to be friends and see where it goes, then I'm not your guy. I feel confident enough that I'm like, listen, I'm a sure winner. So if you wanna get to know me, you need to put in effort to get to know me, not see where it goes. You know what I mean?
Yep.
What about you, Con? Have you ever told somebody, let's be friends and see where it goes?
Yes, I did. I have said that before because I didn't want to get too wrapped up in the very beginning. Women have a tendency to be emotionally attached, and you don't know where it's going to go. So if you take it slow, then you can find out, hey, this person's not for me. I haven't lost too much of anything. I haven't invested that much. But as you get older, you start dating and talking to people with a purpose. When you're younger, you're thinking, oh, you're just trying to find out what you like and what you don't like, what you can accept and what you can't accept, then that's fine. But as you get older, you have a purpose.
No, I find that old heads are doing this too.
I think a lot of women say that kind of as a protection, telling themselves that we're going to take this slow, and if he's good, then, you know, I can open up more to him, and we can actually call it a relationship versus calling it a relationship from the very beginning, and you feel like you wasted all this time.
Listen, nobody said call it a relationship from the very beginning. Nobody said call a relationship from the... just speak.
But you're working toward it. We're working toward it to find out if you would like to be in a relationship.
Yeah, nobody's calling it a relationship in the beginning, but you have to at least put the time in, you know?
Yeah, the time is important. And, like, a lot of people, like, especially a lot of females, sometimes a lot of females have kids already and stuff like that. And, you know, you got to work around that. And, you know, a lot of times, you know, it is what it is. You know, and if you respect the relationship enough, it'll work around that. But a lot of times, you know, when you're dealing with a situation like that, you know, sometimes you gotta deal with the factors. Hey, you know, is the situation what it is? Yeah, I got the honk. No, I'm kidding. But is the situation what it is? You know. And sometimes a lot of women get really guarded because, you know, when it comes to a single woman raising her kids, they're pretty bonded. And you're, you know, as the guy coming in and you're the foreign guy in a strange land kind of thing, you got to kind of work through that too. So that's a whole nother element. That's another topic. That's another show right there. But, you know, at the end of the day, if the child is bonding, or, you know, if there's chemistry in the situation, you can't discount it. You just can't. So it's just, you know, it's a lot of gray areas, a lot of stuff that, you know, can be said and cannot be said. But it's just, you know, it's a lot of different subjects that we deal with nowadays. So it's just, it is what it is. And I'm leaving it alone because that's another show.
Well, I think chemistry makes the world go round.
It's definitely another show.
It's 35 degrees outside.
Hey, man, make sure you get to wherever you're going safely.
Oh, honey, I know how to stay warm. I'm good. I used to live in Michigan. There's not even snow on the ground.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it's just cold.
It's 29 in Texas right now, bro. That don't happen.
Yeah, I don't even know how hot is it in Jersey, but it's not that cold. I don't think.
Yeah, it's cold in Texas right now, bro. It's crazy cold.
Yeah, I hear a comforter and a bottle of wine.
Wow, I'm done.
Yeah, okay, I'm sorry, what? You want me to just say, here, I'm going to go home and watch porno? I mean, seriously?
Wow, I'm done.
Wow.
I mean, I don't know how public the radio station is, but, women think it. We just don't say it. Whatever.
Oh yeah, I forgot. This is a family show.
Let me just add this on a very polite note. Here's this. Women do think a lot of things that men don't give us credit for, okay? And it's women that need to be more expressively open about their desires and their wants so that a man understands. Men do not speak in code. You need to tell them, hey, I'm okay with this. Just like men, when a woman comes home or she comes into the way and you can see that something's going on in her face, she doesn't want you to fix it, but she would like to hear you say, you know what, I'm here for you if you need to talk, even if you don't have the answer. So communication is, by and large, the most essential element in great relationships.
I agree with that statement. If you can't communicate, then you can't be in a successful relationship. Your relationship will not be successful if you cannot communicate.
You're absolutely right. It won't be successful at all. Because one will be thinking that they already know what's going on. The other one will be thinking they don't know anything. And then the communication is so abstract, nobody knows anything. Too many assumptions are made.
I agree. I definitely agree. What'd you say, Con?
Assumptions are dangerous.
Oh, yes, ma'am. I agree.
Definitely, I definitely agree with that. All right, so with that being said, what's your final output on this? Chris, I'm gonna start off with you. What's your final conclusion? What would you have to say based off of Matt's response to the young lady Rebecca and Rebecca's initial remarks? If you was to give advice to either Matt or to Rebecca at this time, what advice would you give to them or to our listeners listening in?
Well, it all starts with you. Period. I mean, everyone has their opinion. Everyone has their own theory on things. But again, it all starts with you. And I know I stated that earlier. If you don't have a clear understanding of who you are and what you like and what you love, then you're going to always come into the problem of not finding what you're supposedly seeking and all that other stuff. Now, life is not perfection. Everyone's not going to understand your cipher. Everyone's not going to understand your flow and all this other stuff. Communication, again, is the key. So if you don't communicate and you don't tell each other how you feel about certain things or aspects, even when you're in a dating aspect, you're not going to find happiness regardless of how many people you date, how many people you court, how many people you have relationships with, because you didn't keep it real from the beginning. So you will always have that failured relationship. You will always have these standards and mindsets because you never, ever kept it real. Everyone has their things with them. Everyone's not perfect. Everyone has their flaws. Everyone has their weaknesses. But at the end of the day, if you have someone that you're dealing with that can keep it real with you in these day and times, that's vital. That's something you want to kind of hold on to and try to work with that, because you don't get that every day. You just don't, because everybody's on this superficial stuff. Everyone's on this high cloud, and we get churched up, and we get all on this psychology where we get on the Boaz and stuff and all that other stuff, and that's great. But at the end of the day, we're still going through the process of being that Boaz or whatever. So you have to understand that it's all an internal thing. It's all a thing where once you find peace within yourself, you're able to be transparent with anyone you meet. And you can pretty much cipher out the dirt. You can pretty much cipher out the games. You can pretty much cipher out the people that don't need to be in your world. Because at the end of the day, you'll be like, man, wow, I seen it coming way before we even got to the movie. So, again, that's maturity. But then I'm done. That's another show.
All right, Carl, what about you? Any last words? What would you like to give to the listeners listening in? What would you like to say in regards to what we was talking about with Matt and Rebecca, or anything you want to like to conclude on it?
I would like to say that you have to be responsible for your own choices. You have to know yourself, and you have to be whole in God. You can't look for other people to complete you or make you whole. Only God can. And when you realize that, then you know what you will accept and what you won't accept, and you won't have low standards. You'd have reasonable standards, and you have to communicate with people and communicate that up front. If it's not working out at the date, don't continue on. Don't waste their time or your time. And you can't categorize everyone or all men or women as bad. There's equally good women and good men, bad women, bad men. You have to be smart about your choices and be realistic with your perspective.
Okay. And my new caller, any last words, anything you would like to share with anybody?
I just wanted to say that, here, hold on one second. I'm driving. Give me 1 second.
I'm getting to no accident now.
Okay. No, I'm not going to get in an accident. What I'd just like to say is, ownership is the first step, and accountability comes in a close second. I think that we all have a part to play. Give me 1 second again. Hold on.
Uh-oh.
Oh, we didn't lose her.
We lost her.
Hopefully she's okay.
Yeah. It's pretty cold in Texas right now, bro. So they ain't used to this cold down here.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it's 29 degrees. These Texans ain't used to that.
And I don't know what the weather like. I don't know what the weather like up here, but it's not. I don't think it's cold like that, bro.
No, we're experiencing record. As they say down here, they're experiencing record-breaking cold. But I'm used to that, so it don't faze me.
Yeah. I hope she's all right.
Yeah, I know.
We lost her. I don't know if we lost her or not, but I hope she's all right. Long story short, I'm going to say that I agree with Matt in regards to the woman. I think that, long story short for her, I think it goes with this, without saying, that if you can't change the situation, change the way you look at it. And in her particular situation, she was a person where she kept going into relationships or in situations where they didn't work. They weren't successful relationships. And so she blamed men. And Matt pointed out that she needs to also blame herself, take responsibility for herself. And obviously, she wasn't doing that at all. And so my whole thing with that is, listen, change your perspective. If you want to attract good men, then make yourself attractable to good men, or make good men be attractable to you by not doing things like what you're doing. Like going out on a date with slobs, in your opinion, slobs, and then going home to that. No good. If I'm a good man and I could, like, my perspective, if I'm a good man and I could take you home on the first night, then you can't expect for me to give you a relationship. To be truthfully honest with you. You can't expect, if a relationship turns out from that, then that's one thing. But you can't go in with the expectations, or then call me and say, I'm a slob, I'm not no good man, and you can't point the finger back at you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you have to also be responsible for your own actions in that situation. So my whole thing with that is, if you can't change your situation, change the way you look at it. And take ownership for your own actions. If you stop blaming others and look at what part you played in it and how you could have changed that, if everybody does that, situations could be always fixed, and nobody would complain about bad relationships, you know. And as long as you know what you did and what you learn from your mistakes, you don't make them again, you know. That's the end. That's all I have to say about this particular show. I appreciate you guys staying on and listening in. I don't want to keep you guys no longer than what's needed. So C1Music.FM, the familiar, we're about to sign off. I hope you guys stay warm. Have a good night. And we'll be on next Tuesday, 9:30 p.m. EST. Holla at your boy. Enjoy your weekend.
See ya.
Holla.
Bye.
Bye.
Thinking about you.
You are now listening to the sounds of C1Music.FM.
Haven't seen you in a while, it's been a minute. I'm so busy looking up ahead. Forgive me that I never called, I've been forgetting. We grew up just the same, then we grew apart the same way. And that was a sad day, period, sad face. You were everything a sister's for, and I never could have asked for more. And I know it wasn't fair how one day I wasn't there, but I needed you the same. And sometimes I still get angry, and I know you still get angry. How they pulled us apart, crazy. What happened was crazy, but we can't keep on blaming. No, no, can't keep on blaming. No, cause we gotta pray and we gotta face what we gotta face, and we gotta stay. No, we can't run away from all our problems, from the one who can solve them. There's only one who can solve them. He'll take all your sad days and put an end to the sad face. And I know that it's difficult to let go. Seems impossible, don't I know? Don't I know? Don't I know? Don't I know? And I know, why should you forgive? But you know, when you have to live with, you know, don't I know? Don't I know?
You are now listening to the sounds of C1Music.FM.
Drinking, I was begging you to stay. I was only 7 when you ran away. I remember on that day, I prayed you were okay. That was my sad day, period, sad face. You were everything a brother's for, and I never got to ask for more. And I know it wasn't fair how one day you wasn't there, but I needed you the same. And sometimes I still get angry, and I know you still get angry how they pushed you away crazy. What happened was crazy, but we can't keep on blaming. No, we can't keep on blaming. We gotta move on, and we gotta pray, and we gotta face what we gotta face, and we gotta stay. No, we can't run away from all our problems, from the one who can solve them. There's only one who can solve them. He'll take all your sad days and put it into the sad face. And I know that it's difficult to let go, seems impossible. Don't I know? Don't I know? Don't I know? Don't I know? And I know. Why should you forgive? Well, you know, when you have to live with, you know. Don't I know? Don't I know? Now there's something that I've gotta say to everyone I love, and I hope you would listen. I'm praying God will open up your eyes. I'm praying that you open up and pay attention, 'cause you'll stand before his face, and if he doesn't know your name, there'll be a sad day, period. Sad face. I don't wanna see that day, 'cause I know that it's difficult, seems impossible. Don't I know? I know. Why should you forgive what you know, when you have to live? You know, don't I know? 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 Don't I know?
You are now listening to the sounds of C1Music.fm. Unfamiliar.